Hi, and welcome to our 2-Acre World. Join me as we talk about raising your own fish on the homestead and how those same fish can feed you and your vegetables. Let's go. Are you happy with the food you're buying at the store? Are you confident that the food that you're purchasing is clean and healthy? Or worse, do you feel the food you're buying at the grocery store may even be harmful? Hi, and welcome to our 2-Acre World. We all have different reasons for homesteading. Personally, we have several, and one of the main reasons is being as self-sufficient as possible by growing our own food. Clean, nutritious food. It's been said, know your farmer, know your food. Sadly, even going to the farmer's market isn't always safe. There's someone who lives in my community that uses pesticides on their vegetables and sells them as organic at the local farmer's market. This is misrepresentation at its worst. We've even seen people at the farmer's market selling strawberries they bought at the local big box store and didn't bother to remove the labels. Now I know that 98% of sellers at the farmer's market are legit, but which ones aren't? When you grow your own food, you know it's safe. And you get tremendous satisfaction when you raise your own food. Now when it comes to farm animals for meat, homesteaders often raise cows, pigs, goats, sheep, chickens, and rabbits. But I rarely hear of anyone raising fish on their homestead. A lot of people think they need a large pond or a property big enough for a lake, but that's not the case. I'm going to teach you how you can raise a lot of clean, organic fish to eat and have your fish fertilize your vegetable garden, all with only around 60 square feet of space. I'll show you how in just a moment. So why raise and eat your own fish? Because there's lots of benefits to eating fish. Fish are high in protein as well as vitamin B12, iron, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids that are all important to heart health, brain health, your thyroid, and a lot more. Plus fish are versatile and easy to prepare. Now personally, I can't butcher my own farm animals. It's just not my thing. They're my pets. My chickens all have names. Maybe you know the feeling. I know a lot of you can do it, and I also know a lot of you can't bring yourself to butcher your own animals. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about butchering your own animals for food. But fish, I can bop them on the head or drop them in a bucket of ice water, gut them, fillet them, and turn them into tacos, no problem. Now, I'd agree with you that it's a lot easier to go down to the store and just buy fish. So let's talk about getting your fish from typical sources. There are drawbacks to store-bought fish. Frozen fish are often wet down before freezing, producing false weight, so you're not getting what you're paying for. The country of origin can be a concern, and also how the fish are raised and what they are fed. Rules and regulations vary in other countries where a lot of fish comes from. There's also the problem of falsely labeled fish. A fish labeled as one type, usually a more expensive fish, but actually being another cheaper fish. I mean, can you look at a filleted fish and know exactly what species it is? Most people can't. So you might say, but I can go catch my own fish. I get it. I love fishing too. But there are some drawbacks to catching freshwater fish you may not be aware of, and that's something called forever chemicals. The EPA says from coast to coast and in almost every state in the U.S., high levels of the forever chemicals known as PFAS contaminate freshwater fish. This poses health risks to people that catch and eat their own fish. Forever chemicals are man-made. The solution is to raise your own fish for food, and that is called aquaculture. It not only gives you the satisfaction of raising your own fish, but also of being sure that the fish you are eating is clean, healthy, and toxin-free. There are many types of fish you can raise on the homestead, including tilapia, bluegill, catfish, trout, and crappie. Be sure to follow all your local state laws. We choose tilapia for now, and this is why. They have a fast growth rate of around 6 to 8 months. Tilapia are extremely hardy and have a high tolerance to a wide range of water conditions. They're a tasty white fish with a mild flavor, and they have excellent food conversion rates. That means the return on our investment versus the cost of the feed. Because tilapia are so easy and popular to raise, many out-of-the-country fish farms feed them a lot of stuff they shouldn't be feeding them, if you know what I mean. When you raise your own fish, you end up with byproducts, solid waste, and ammonia-rich water. This requires filtration, just like a home aquarium would. The solution to filtration is a hydroponic system of raising your vegetables. Growing your vegetables hydroponically simply means without soil. Wait, what does this have to do with raising your own fish? Stick around and you'll find out. Here's how a vegetable grow bed can act as a filtration system for the fish you're raising as food. Fish do what they do. They pee and they poo. So first, we separate the solid waste. We're going to use that later. The ammonia-rich water enters our grow bed, in this case rocks. Bacteria literally comes from the air, senses the ammonia, and begins to live in the rocks. The bacteria eats ammonia and excretes something called nitrites. Another bacteria comes along and it eats nitrites and then excretes nitrates. Your plants recognize the nitrates as fertilizer and take it in through their roots. Then the clean water returns to the fish. This process allows us to use the solid waste with ammonia byproducts to our advantage. We can use the solid waste as fertilizer also. This is one source for what you may buy at the plant store known as fish emulsion. So aquaculture, the raising of your fish, combined with hydroponics, growing your vegetables without soil, is called aquaponics. Aquaponics is nothing new and goes back in history to the ancient Egyptians and is still used in many parts of the world today. Like so many of the ancient ways, it's been tossed aside and replaced with things more commercially viable. And as you know, that's not always the best for us. You don't need a bunch of land or a giant pond to raise your own fish at home. You can create an aquaponics system in your yard or patio. So let me show you how I started raising my own fish for food. I'm going to show you some brief clips here of my first aquaponics build to show you a little bit about what's involved in the previous system. So I started out with an IBC tote. This is an industrial bulk container. It only had clean water in it. It was used. They run about $275 to $350 or so brand new. If you get one used like I did, I paid about $70 for this one. I would just use great caution if you're going to take this route as to what was in it prior. And be careful who you're dealing with, that they're being honest about what was in there, because once a chemical gets into that plastic, it ain't coming out. And it's going to get into your food and kill your fish. Then I laid down a cinder block base foundation. There's no mortar here, they're just laying on the gravel. I built my media beds out of 2x4s. They're 2 foot wide, 1 foot deep, and 8 foot long. I built 2 of them. Now all this was part of a mathematical equation for sizing everything, for how many gallons of water your system holds, the number of fish you can accommodate, and the amount of grow bed that you actually have. It's real easy, but it does need to be calculated to make sure that you have enough ammonia to support the system and that you have enough plants and plant area in order to clean the water properly for the fish. So here's the 2 8-foot beds end to end. Lined them with plywood. My son checked them for size. And then we painted them because they were going to be outdoors. And then we put the liner in. Now this liner is not pond liner. I strongly recommend you stay away from pond liner for these systems because they're going to off-gas the materials from the plastic into your food and into your fish. This is a product called Durascrim. This is fiber reinforced and it does not off-gas, and that's the reason that I chose it. Yes, it did cost more. It was difficult to work with as it's very thick, but it's worth it in the long run. And there's a shot of the bed with the bell siphon. That's simply what drains the system automatically, so that will fill and drain this media bed. There's a rock guard around that because we're going to fill these grow beds with rocks, and there you see that. So this is 3/4 smooth river rock, so it's not hard on your hands if you do have to dig a little hole to put your plants in. Right there. And those are the pipes that fill the ammonia-rich water from the fish tank. On the right there, on the ground, and in the ground a little bit, is the sump tank, which I described to you earlier, that keeps the water level in the fish tank the same height. There's the whole system there. In this case, I just got some PVC lattice and cut it to fit. As you can see, all the grow beds are up at, that's at about bathroom counter height. So I'm not on my knees, I'm not digging weeds because I have none. I put potting soil into egg cartons. I put seeds into the little egg cups and let them get to about 2 inches tall, and then pulled them out, rinsed off the dirt from the roots, and stuck them in the rocks. And that's exactly how this works. It's amazing. You would not think these things would grow, but they not only grow, they flourish. So these are different kinds of lettuces. I've got radicchio, endive, arugula, chard, kale, butter lettuce, number of different. The leafy greens do very well in cool weather, not so much in the hot summer. Look at the beautiful green. And this is an abundance of food in a very, very small footprint because there's no fighting over food or water. This is just an experiment I did that worked out fantastic. I took a stalk of celery I bought from the grocery store, hacked off the bottom, and stuck it into the rock. And this thing started to grow from the inside out, and look what I ended up with from it. Clean and organic. The other thing I did too, which I'll talk about also in a later video, is I learned how to breed my own tilapia. So once I've got all these beautiful fish, I'm going to eat them. But in order to be truly sustainable and self-sufficient with this aquaponics system, I need to reproduce my fish. I read some instructions, I followed them, and I had success. And I ended up with about 100 babies. You can see them here. These are called fry at this size. I waited till they were about 2.5 inches or so to put them into the big tank. And then I put some small PVC pipes down at the bottom of the tank, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, so that they had a place to hide from the big ones because tilapia are very predatory and will eat each other if given the opportunity. Here's a shot of one of the red tilapia that we raised at one time, and then also the blue Nile, which I had the best luck with. And this is from harvest time, or the culling as we call it. And these were about 1.5 pounds, 1.75 pounds maybe, and about 11 inches long tip to tip when I harvested them. So that's a quick look at my previous system, and as I mentioned, we're going to build a new system in the new greenhouse, and we're going to take care of a lot of the challenges that we had with the first system. For example, when heaters went out in the wintertime, when pumps went out, when air pumps went out, when power went out, there was a lot of failures and a lot of successes as well. You can see how beautiful the fish are. But we do have to address the failures in order to prevent them from happening in the future. In a future video of our new system, I'll talk about where to get your first fish to get started. So what can an aquaponics system do for you? An aquaponics system at your house or homestead can supply you and your family with fresh, clean, organically raised fish, as well as organically raised vegetables. Fish and vegetables that are sustainable and clean. Raising and breeding your own fish at home, like my shirt says, can supply you with an infinite harvest of nutritious food. Food with no pesticides, no chemical fertilizers, and as an added bonus, no pesky gophers. Our next system will be built right here in the greenhouse, where hopefully we can eliminate some of the mistakes that were made with our first system. Be sure to subscribe so you can catch that video when it comes out.
Wow, that was great. I'm going to subscribe.
In this video, you've learned that you can raise your own fish at home, supplying your family's needs and sustaining an independent lifestyle, free from the potential hazards of food outside your control. Besides the health concerns of store-bought fish, you need to ask yourself, if I couldn't get to the store, or if the grid went down and they couldn't take my money, or worse, they ran out of food, where would I be? Raising your own fish at home can help supply the food you and your family need. And we hope you have an infinite harvest. Let us know down in the comments what you think about raising your own fish for food. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this cool aquaponics t-shirt we designed, I'll put a link to it down below. And if you like this video, smash that like button and check this one out next. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching our 2 Acre World, and remember to be prepared, not scared. See you in the next video. Have a blessed day.